Hi everyone, this is Amanda from amandaschertzer.com, part of your Lightworker support team. I just wrote an article about why getting triggered is the best opportunity you have for creating an amazing shift in your own consciousness. So I'm going to go through the article and sort of read it out to you. When someone does or says something that makes you really angry or really sad, you have a great opportunity to shift your consciousness and take it to the next level. I realize it doesn't feel like that in the moment, but there are some things you can do to transform anger or sadness, which are really forms of fear, into a new way of thinking that will stop people from being able to trigger you. There are a couple of reasons why you get triggered. One, you're holding a belief about yourself that isn't true. And two, you're doing the same thing, just in a different way. So let's break these down and I'll give some examples of what I mean by this. So when you're holding on to something that isn't true about yourself, the person triggering you is your mirror and your opportunity to recognize that and let it go. And this is how you know you're holding an untrue belief about yourself. If you didn't believe it, you wouldn't react. Kyle Cease gives a really good example of this in one of his books where he talks about a purple monster, but this is how I interpret it. So if someone comes up to you and sneers at you and says, "You are a horrible parent. I feel sorry for your kids," and you get upset, it's because something inside of you is feeling the "I'm not good enough" core belief. And you know this is so because if a person came up to you and sneered and said, "You're a purple alien. I feel sorry for your kids," you're probably not going to react. You'll just think that person has a very interesting perspective about who they believe I am. So you can see the difference. Every opinion another person has about you is just that, their opinion. But when you take it in and you feel it as truth, then you've got an untrue belief about yourself somewhere. And I'll tell you how to fix that in a minute. All right, the second reason that you get triggered is that you're really doing the same thing and maybe in a different way, or maybe even the same way. So here's an example. Once when my kids were really little, we took them to Chuck E. Cheese. And I have always been very primal in my protective instinct where my kids are concerned. Well, they were off playing, and my husband and I were at the table, and I got up to use the restroom, and my husband asked me to take my purse with me because I'd left it on the floor under the table. And I just looked at him funny, and I said, "I don't think anyone's going to steal it," but I took it anyway. So later, we were sitting at the table again, and I was looking around, and I couldn't see all the kids, and I was starting to panic a little bit. Now, if you've ever been to Chuck E. Cheese, you know they have this sort of security protocol where you can't go in without getting like this invisible glow-in-the-dark hand stamp on yourself and your children that matches, so that if anybody tries to leave with any kids, they check that to make sure you're leaving with the right children. So, and then there's only one way out, and they monitor that. So I'm looking around, and I'm starting to do the primal panic thing, and my husband says, "I don't think anyone is going to steal them." And I had to laugh because that was such a good way to point out to me that I was doing the same thing that he was. Only I didn't even realize it. I couldn't tell until he pointed it out, until he said it the exact same way. So when you're judging an action or a way of thinking in someone else, it's very likely you have the same way of judging or thinking. So how do we fix this? Well, for the first example, you realize you have an untrue belief about yourself, but what is it? There's several types of core wounds we get from just living here and being born on Earth. My thoughts are that they're one of the following: I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, I'll be all alone, or I'm not understood. So which one are you feeling when you get triggered? When you're sad because you just found out your ex-wife has a new boyfriend, it's probably the "I'm not good enough" core wound. When you feel like your best friend is suddenly not really getting you and not really listening anymore, it's probably the "I'm not understood" belief. Somewhere along your life, you picked up these incorrect beliefs and they have just accumulated. And now your fellow humans, who are all parts of the all just like you, are trying to reflect these back so you can come into alignment with who you really are. Once you figure out which untrue belief you're holding, you can stop believing it. I like to journal about what might have happened in my past to lead me to that belief. What did I see others do? What did people say to me as a child? What does our culture tell us? When I was channeling about Queen Elizabeth I and how she didn't want to get intimately involved with any men, I realized she had a strong I'm not safe core belief. Who could blame her when her mother literally lost her head over her father? So she was afraid that she would lose her ability to maintain her strength and her power, and that she wouldn't be able to trust that her partner, or any man, wouldn't try to take advantage of her because of how well they knew her. And ultimately, she would die. So, when you look at your beliefs from this vantage point, you can see that they just aren't true. Also, keep in mind that you are eternal. Yes, we want to stay in this life and learn as much as possible and have all the great experiences that come with it. Yes, we want to do the lightworker job we came here to do and help humanity. But that starts with remembering that you are love. That's it. Anything else is a distortion or a corruption of the truth of who you really are. So keep that in mind the next time you feel triggered, and know that it is always for your benefit, and use it to help you remember the love and light that you are. I hope this helps you. Talk to you again next time. Much love.